So somebody phoned. I'm recording this on my phone. And we stopped with the Opal sock yarn. Yes. I like Opal because they have collections. And this one will be Magic Sky, and it will have names like, this one here is Kometenschweif, which is a comet rain. Comet shower. Anyway, so I've got all of that to knit up. I have got more yarn than I need. But what happens if it's like a stockpile for when I'm really, really old? What happens if I don't have money? Oh my God, I need yarn. I need yarn. So I do have another pair of socks on my needles. I have these ones. I bought some, this really luminous pink is a yarn made by Manos del Uruguay called Alegria. And the little stripes in between were little minis that I bought from Nurturing Fibers on one of my trips to South Africa. And I just bought a whole collection of minis. So I thought what I would do is I'm actually knitting, as you can see with the shaping, I'm knitting knee-high socks and using up the minis. So there's one color going into another color. And what I've done is I've taken each mini, because I'm knitting socks one at a time, I've taken each mini skein and I've separated it in half. So I've got half for the other sock. And then I just knit until I run out of a certain color, and I keep going. I've got enough to make a lovely pair of knee-high socks. I'm super excited about wearing them. I think they could be a lot of fun. So even if nobody sees them, I'll know they're there. And I'm just using I thought I'd use somebody else's pattern for a change, because normally I just knit socks out of my head. But I got the Peyton's sock pattern, and I'm using the numbers for the knee length socks. But the thing is, English sock knitting is on 3 needles with 1 working needle, and continental is 4 needles and 1 working needle. And it was so sweet once in the shop, an elderly British lady, I mean, she was like, I don't know, much older than me, came into the store and said, I'm so happy with these needles because you can lose one. They give you an extra one. And I didn't know what she was talking about until I realized, that's what it is. I didn't know that that's how people knitted 3, blah, blah. Anyway, so those are all my socks. And now we come to the part that I really wanted to talk about. There's mayhem on my table. I'm not good with mayhem. Is color. I have had some interesting experiences with color recently. I've had somebody come in looking for green yarn, and then it turns out to be blue. And I've had people ask me for color yarns over the telephone. It is so subjective. So subjective. But I was given this amazing book by a friend to read, The Secret Lives of Color. And it is so interesting. It's a nice book because it's not about the chemistry of color. There's a little bit of chemistry of color there, but it tells you stories about color, which are just amazing. But what I wanted to say was, you know, I'm often confronted by people saying to me, I'm no good with color. And I don't understand that. Because our eyes, like physiologically, our eyes work in the same way with the rods and the cones and the what you see and what you don't see, unless, of course, you've got a congenital problem. the physiology of how you see color, it's the same across the board, right? But it's so different on how people put colors together or perceive colors, or what is green and what is blue to some people, and what is yellow and what is orange, what is a warm color, what is a cool color. And it's super, I've realized that it's super subjective. And it's got nothing to do with whether physiologically your eyes perceive color or not. It's got nothing to do with that. And I started to read up about it, but I'll use this jumper, for example, this cardigan that I'm knitting, for example, as an example. I was knitting, I showed you the cardigan earlier on. It's just a very straightforward cardigan with some pockets. And every time I use markers, every time I came to this marker, I thought to myself, I just have to put this color in this cardigan somehow, somewhere, right? I have another marker that's that color. Didn't do the same thing for me. Don't care about this color. It's a nice color on its own. But so I am going to use this. I have to. I'm going to make the pocket linings and the button bands, possibly the button bands, and then I might use buttons this color on the cardigan. But I was wondering what happens that this becomes important as a decision, that I have to use this color. And why am I right? Because sometimes when I see some colors that people put together, I go, really? That's what you like? But it's not wrong. It's just, I often think about what makes me right, you know? Anyway, it's a whole nother story. But I did start reading in this book. And first of all, the stories in here are delightful. I'm loving every minute of it. And more to the point, I found that there was a spot in here. Now, I probably lost it, but here we go. She mentioned the Ovahimbas, which is a tribe in Namibia, where I come from. And she was saying that a whole lot of anthropologists, I think it was, were very interested in studying the way the Ovahimbas related to color, and that they basically had only 4 groups of color in their vocabulary. Interesting. But each group actually encompassed a lot of colors. Like some of them were even, it wasn't like one word was for all the browns and beiges. That one word was for all the browns. It even incorporated some blues and some greens. And then it was very, very interesting to read. And then that's when I started to think about color, and I thought, that's it, you know, it's cultural, it's traditional. I think it even has to do with where you live. And I'm just, no research done here, so don't hold me to any of this. It's just my mind going off. If you knew where the Ovahimba tribes lived, which is in northwest Namibia, it's very desert and very kind of brown and reds and oranges, but it's not sort of like a crazy Brazilian tropical forest or like my Buddha up there. It's nothing like that, right? So I suppose where you live can also influence how many colors you see and how you categorize them in your culture and in your tradition, which I found really, really interesting. But the reason I've got the book out today is I had such a giggle. She talks about, like, the colors are all categorized, you know, in blues and greens and pinks and so on. And she talks about them, and not so much the chemistry of them, but stories related to them. And the one that really tickled me pink was the color beige, because is there something more insipid than beige? I love color, and I was reading about beige, and just everything that it said about beige was so funny and so bland. So when Dulux started to make beige colors, because it seems like I'm surrounded by beige in my apartment, sort of yellow beige, they needed to get colors. Beige is so bad that they needed to start to come up with names for beige. And they came up with names like rope swing, leather satchel, evening barley, ancient artifact, brushed fossil, natural Hessian, trench coat, Nordic sails. Okay, so that I'm reading this and I just thought, oh my God, marketing, marketing, marketing. But then I got to this, but I'm going to read it to you because it is priceless. When two scientists surveyed over 200,000 galaxies and discovered that the universe, taken as a whole, is a shade of beige, they immediately sought a sexier name. Suggestions included Big Bang Buff and Skyvery, but in the end, they settled on Cosmic Latte. I mean, my personal favorite would have been Big Bang Buff, but Cosmic Latte it is. And then I thought, oh, wouldn't that be amazing? Because apparently, I don't know if it was the same two scientists, the chemical composition of the universe smells of rum and raspberry, or tastes of rum and raspberry, either or. And I thought, as I was reading it, I thought, can you imagine I'll say this. If there's some barista out there who can come up with a rum and raspberry cosmic latte, wouldn't that just be the most pretentious drink on the planet? Anyway, I thought that was funny. And I hope that I can read for you more from this book, because the colors are beautiful. And if I can't read for it, please go and get the book. It is entertaining. It is entertaining. So The Secret Lives of Color by Cassia St. Clair. I love it. And all of these little things are just, I thought I might read them to you, but I don't know if that would be too boring. And I wanted to end the podcast just for today by saying to my cousin Kai and his lovely wife Marina, Prussian blue is a thing, and it's in my book. So, on that note, I will say goodbye. I don't know if you found this in any way interesting. I hope you have, and I hope we can chatter some more next time, and I will have possibly more things to show you. This video is going to maybe be in 2 parts because the phone rang halfway through, and I didn't want to start the whole thing over again. So I'm going to see if I know how to splice the 2 bits together. So there might be a big hiccup towards the end, don't know. Or if I can't do that, I'll just upload them in part 1 and part 2. So until the next time we meet, in about a month's time, I think, happy knitting, happy making, and look after yourselves, stay safe, wash your hands, etc., etc., etc. Bye.